real quickly before I jump into the video, I want to let you guys know that if you guys are interested in Control Freaks, from now until the end of the holiday season, you can end up getting 15% off your entire order using code ESPRESSO instead of just the previous 10 that it was all the way beforehand. But if you guys are interested in checking that out, some stocking stuffers, or you just want to buy a pair for yourself, feel free to check that out. I'll leave a link down there in the description below if you guys want to click that. It'll actually pre-apply the code, so you can just go in. You don't have to remember to put the code in, or you can use code ESPRESSO for 15% off at checkout. But now, back to the regular schedule content. So you probably got a massive update within Black Ops 4 today, because as of earlier today, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One ended up getting update version 1.08 for Black Ops 4. This will soon follow on PC as well. If I'm not mistaken, it was 14 gigabytes on PlayStation 4, and I think it was a little more on Xbox One, that being right around 22 gigabytes for that platform. But that's a lot of content, so what exactly can we expect to see here out of this whenever you boot up Black Ops 4 and finally get it installed for an update that surprisingly dropped on a Monday, a day that we don't normally get title updates or really the big patch notes given to us, because a lot of the times that ends up getting time-gated and things are released at a later point, and it's just installed a little early on. But we ended up getting patch notes today, and we ended up getting a lot of changes right here, but I still think there's a lot of stuff we can look forward to. So we're gonna be breaking down all this here, everything the patch and update really changed here for you guys. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. The first thing right off the bat is that today's 1.08 update actually isn't the only one scheduled and up on deck for Call of Duty Black Ops 4. These patch notes actually gave way to another announcement of another bigger title update coming next week at some point. Now, while there is no date given, it's probably going to be right around next Monday or next Tuesday as well, to gear up for what may be the second operation or whatever the next season for Black Ops 4 may end up being, simply because that's when we're gonna end up seeing a lot of stuff happen. So there is a lot that's gonna be jam-packed into next week, and what they ended up saying was that a lot of this focused on stability, which I believe to an extent, but I still think there's more hidden underneath the surface. In terms of multiplayer, a lot of this came down to some more technical stuff. The first thing that was detailed was spawns. There were some slight spawn adjustments just for hardpoint. Unfortunately, that's really as far in and as detailed as it goes. We didn't get anything for TDM, domination, control, none of those other game modes you may end up playing, but just hardpoint had a few spawn adjustments made to it. Hopefully there are more coming in the near future. We're a month and a half, almost 2 months into the life cycle of Black Ops 4, and the one thing that I will say undeniably that I do not like about multiplayer is the spawn system. I feel like it's just not where it should be, so I'm hoping that maybe some more get implemented as we progress throughout time. But then for gameplay, there was a smaller minor adjustment made here for this one, and one that if you blink it, you might miss it. But it added a calling card and emblem for enemies that were killed on the player's HUD. So beforehand, it had the name and the damage dealt for them in your EKIA status, but it also now adds a little bit more visual to it, kind of how it was in Black Ops 3 or the Black Ops 3 beta, one of the two, if not both, but it's something that just now adds a little more visual to that one. In terms of stability fixes, we ended up seeing there were a bunch of crashes fixed. They were very situational. I'll leave those linked down there in the description below for you guys if you want to check it out, just so I don't spend any extra time really going over anything that might not even apply to you. But in terms of the other changes, score streaks were slightly adjusted. There were two in particular. The care package got an improved care package landing physics adjustment, so it's not something that it should land now and go completely up into space or disappear. I saw some very funny clips here on that, but if you're the player that's trying to call it in and get your score streak out of that care package, it's pretty unfortunate, so good thing that that was fixed out. But then as for the Hellstorm missile, it addressed an issue that would allow the Hellstorm to lock onto targets that were under roofs and not reachable by the missile. So sort of a little bug there that I personally didn't see, but again, you might have come into contact with, but a little more ironing out for that one. In terms of challenge fixes, we had 3 of them showcased here and fixed out for this update in particular, that being the 100%er challenge, the Bring the Pain challenge, and Got Rocks challenge. Now 100%er obviously is exactly what it sounds like. 100%ers will have completed every single challenge within the associated game mode that they are playing, multiplayer, zombies, or blackout, and that 100%er challenge for multiplayer now will properly unlock for those that have earned it. That was obviously something that a lot of people really were trying to go for, and with it not being all that much that rewards players overall for that much time into it, not even getting that calling card as a bug was something certainly rather frustrating naturally. As for Bring the Pain, this is where you have to get kills with a dual wield SOG 9mm. Those are now going to properly track, so you can end up getting that challenge as well. And then Got Rocks is vehicle destructions that will now properly track towards those as well. There were some CWL challenges for custom games, and that the professionals then then can now use to kind of, from a top-down perspective, get a little more uniform rule sets on their matches and hopefully no more gentlemen's agreements. And those of you guys that play competitive are gonna have some dabbling in with this as well. But then as for other miscellaneous multiplayer changes, there were some slight fix to some gesture bugs, but then there also was one that ended up fixing an issue where classes would change mid-game in the create a class menu if it was not closed due to spawning. I'm not entirely sure if this refers to the attachment bug that players had reported, but I'm hoping that it does. Again, as of the time of recording this, I haven't had anybody validate that it did fix it or did not, but with it being something related to create a class, I'm hoping that that was something that was either directly as a result of this change or something that inadvertently was changed as well or was subtly patched, not necessarily listed specifically. Zombies had quite a few stability issues fixed out, and a lot of them starting in the patch notes with "in a rare instance of," so I'll leave the link down there in the description below again for you guys to check those out if you're interested. There's a dozen of those, so I don't really want to list off every single one and take too much time here by listing again things that might not necessarily apply to you, but just know that there are a ton of general stability fixes for zombies from either the top-down generality perspective or from the maps of Voyage of Despair, Blood of the Dead, and Classified, as well as 9. So that said, moving over into some other stuff, we end up also seeing that Blackout had some slight adjustments to it here as well. One thing being kind of falling in line with the multiplayer edition, where it adds the calling card, emblem, and echelon for the killed enemies that you end up having whenever it pops up. So again, you'd end up previously having just the name and the damage dealt here for that whenever you got the kill. Now it's a little bit more visually appealing to look at, and so therefore you'll be able to notice that. It also added enemy calling card, emblem, and echelon to the kill cams as something you can check out as well if you want to see just a little more about the player that got you. One thing that unfortunately came out of this update is a little bit of a bug that came along with the Blackout mode in general. It's not something that was listed in the patch notes, but it is something that I'm hoping is fixed relatively soon, is that whenever you go and loot on console, it's probably gonna be a little bit more clunky, which is kind of funny to say because it's already clunky, but whenever you go and hold your square or X to end up looting a bag, it would previously then cycle in whatever was next as an item, so it would automatically be able to pick up from there. Instead, you end up seeing that it kind of takes whatever item is there, but then it doesn't move the cursor at all, so you have the option to pick up literally nothing. So that's something that, of course, is a little bit of a deterrent from the looting system on Blackout on console in particular, which is already clunky to begin with. Hopefully that's fixed out soon. The only thing that was going through my mind when I first saw that happen, and then it happened a couple of times throughout the game, was I'm gonna die when I start looting here. And I almost did. Unfortunately, I did not. Now, that's not a lot for 14 gigabytes and 22 gigabytes respectively for your console of choice. And that's where it really starts to become really interesting to me, because there is definitely some stuff hidden well beneath what is visible with the public right now. And that's something that I would expect this to come as of tomorrow. Now, the reason that I say that is because we never get updates on Mondays. So firstly, something's already out of whack here. Tuesdays we normally do, and with this being something that going into the last week of Operation First Strike, it's not the strangest thing that we do have a big update like this, adding in something maybe for one last hurrah or whatever it may be. But when you take a look at other things as well that have been teased, that's something that it might point a little bit towards what will be coming, and maybe as of tomorrow again. So the biggest thing here out of this, it did mention in the patch notes that we have a big update coming next week, but for the Blackout portion in particular, there's a little more that can be discussed. They ended up saying, prepare for big changes coming to the game. We've got an extensive set of features, events, and more surprises planned for the future of Blackout, and we're excited to share more details on everything coming in our next update in a dedicated post later this week. Now that could mean a number of things, and it could also be taken two different ways. Firstly, it could be a part of this update right now and being detailed as of the next update post from Reddit and Treyarch themselves, or it could be something that's tied in with next week's massive game update, and that's the post they'll be previewing then that patch later on in the week. So it really comes down to how you want to actually decipher this, but it is something that no less we still have a teaser of what may be to come as well, because earlier today, Call of Duty ended up doing a live stream with footballer soccer superstar Neymar, and during this he ended up teasing Hijacked and Blackout. And this is something that David Vonderhaard previously mentioned, that he's already played a new build of the Blackout map with some alterations and some big changes to it. So it's possible that maybe this is the other portion of the update that we've yet to see, that other probably 13 gigabytes or so of content for Black Ops 4 that we just don't have yet, and maybe turned on with a flick of a switch as of tomorrow. But regardless, other things that could be included in this are those armor adjustments, the camos that we've been promised as well coming over from zombies and multiplayer, and potentially even Blackout specific camos all being customizable within Black Ops 4's Blackout experience. But there's a lot of stuff up on deck that is definitely going to be taking part in Blackout, and I'm super excited to see if we get it tomorrow or if it's something we have to wait until next week. But regardless, there's still that big question mark on a large portion of this update. So that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up though. I want to let you guys know about everything that was detailed, and again, also let you know that there is some stuff that is totally not being told to us just yet. We just don't know exactly what that is. We might have some good indications. Again, maybe it is Hijacked finally coming in the waters of Blackout. Maybe that's something that happens tomorrow, but we'll have to wait and see. But that said, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What are you guys looking forward to the most here out of this? Are you guys definitely suspicious there is something else hidden beneath the surface of this update? And if so, what do you think that is? Do you think it is something relating to Blackout? Do you think it's some weapon tuning that's going to be detailed later? Do you think it's some DLC potentially? I mean, we did see a map already actually given to us as of the title update a couple of weeks ago, where we got firing range, night, and seaside sunset detailed to us. So whatever it is, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4 multiplayer, Blackout, and zombies. We got you covered with the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, best class setups, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel. So if anything that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. Those links are down there in the description below as well. For now, that's what we're going to call it. So thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. Take care and peace.